Okay, so I'm Andrew. This is Jacob. This is the ExtraAmo podcast. I am here with the owner of Novox Research,
That's me.
Jacob, and you are also a paramedic in your day job. And I had the pleasure, while I was at SHOT Show, to find out about your company and visit your booth. And Nick, who was there, was very gracious and offered me an interview. And then I got really annoying about it, and I kept hitting him up and hitting you up and badgering you until you finally agreed.
That's on
To,
me. I won't lie to you. That is on me. I intended to accept much earlier, but I kept forgetting to email you back.
well, these things happen. I also don't really recommend Google services, especially Google Voice, on account of there was some jabberwocky with my number being disabled because actually a text to Nick was flagged as me spamming people.
Nice.
Very weird, but ended up with there was some disabling of my account for a time. So that might have been on me. I'm not sure. Well, it certainly was on Google. Let's blame Google. But I heard a rumor. I heard a rumor at SHOT Show. There was an occurrence. There was a
There are many
application of your
occurrences.
paramedic skills.
Yes. Yeah. I'm in the process of trying to escape EMS, and it seems like EMS had different plans for me. Um, Yeah, so a fella got stabbed in Restaurant Row in the Venetian, like right outside SHOT Show. He wasn't a SHOT Show attendee. He's actually a World of Concrete attendee. You know, those violent concrete
Yeah,
workers.
watch out for them.
Yeah, sketchy folks. I mean, he was a nice guy, but yeah, he got in a fight with somebody and got poked while I was trying to enjoy a chai latte in Starbucks, waiting on the Silencer Shot party. I was trying to reschedule my flight because it got canceled like that during SHOT Show there.
Well, there was a lot of weather. Were you affected by the
Yeah,
weather?
so yes, yeah. So
We
we're
were
I'm
too.
in South Arkansas, so it was like kind of like right in the center. And yeah, my flight got canceled. I forget what day that was. I think it was Thursday, maybe Wednesday. Um, and I had to stay there until like Saturday, until I could finally leave. Uh, didn't quite plan on being in Vegas that long, but it is what it is. Um, but so I was trying to charge my phone and see my options for getting a new flight or uh, whatever I could do to try to get home in time. And heard some commotion going on there. Sitting there with my buddies from air15.com, and they went to go look at it, and I was still trying to charge my phone. And I work in EMS, so like hearing or like I was just watching random street fight doesn't quite have very much appeal to me because I don't. I've seen it. So they came running back and like in that moment I flashed to me packing for SHOT Show and looking at my box of tourniquets, being like, I don't need one of those.
Right.
So they luckily had like a North American Rescue IFAC in one of their bags, one of the camera bags, and they know what I do outside of Novox and just kind of threw it to me. And so I just ran and threw it on, and then that picture showed up and the video showed up and all that. And I always felt kind of weird sharing it, because it feels almost self-aggrandizing. But I mean, it felt kind of cool to see myself all over all the different pages, all the different memes and all that. Um,
So
it
I'd
was
just
it was
like to
a
say
weird time.
on behalf of America that you are a
Okay.
hero.
Yeah,
Okay,
absolutely.
and but no, well, not to plug a product that but like the I have the what is it snake staff
Mhm.
every day ETQ whatever. I've been
Yeah.
told there's a lot of opinions about these. Maybe they suck. I don't know, but
I think the first gen were like supposed to be a little
yeah.
bit iffy, and I think it wasn't necessarily like the tourniquet itself. I think it was a little thin, and
Hmm.
so applying that much pressure over like that thinner surface, as far as I understand, I think it can cause like some. I mean, of course, some tissue damage, nerve damage as well. Um, Obviously, life over limb. If you're gonna bleed out, and you're like,
Right. Better than a
do some
belt
nerve damage. Yeah, I
or
mean, better than a belt for sure. But uh, I researched the second gen a pretty good bit before the incident, actually. Not just because Snake staff reached out and they were nice folks after the incident. I did know about them before.
that's awesome.
Uh, it seems like the second gen is supposed to be pretty good to go, and I think they're like waiting. Oh man, I forget what the accrediting body is off the top of my head right now. They're awaiting like not necessarily like they don't recommend it. They kind of just approve and say it's good for use. They won't recommend a single one. They're awaiting that, and I don't see any problem with them. It's better than what's it called, the rats, or
Oh
you know
yeah. Well,
those like little string turning. I mean, at the end of the day, just like paracord tourniquets.
yeah. So I've taken a little, like, I have luckily not had to apply a tourniquet myself, but I do carry one of the snake staffs every day. In
Doing
fact,
better than me, apparently.
well, I had one at SHOT Show, but it's actually interesting. Like, my buddy who was there with me and
Mhm.
whatever, he kind of made like a comment like, "Wow, what, like, we're at SHOT Show, like a dozen people are gonna have them," and I'm like, "Well, you're packing for
If
SHOT
everyone says
Show,
that.
and maybe you're like, I don't need this because a dozen people," and a lot of people have that mentality on carrying a gun. Somebody else is gonna do it. Like, there's a lot of um, the idea that somebody else will handle it.
Mhm.
And I guess it was good that you were there because you had the skills, right? And that somebody else had the thing, and it ended up working out. I heard about that.
Thankfully,
It was
yeah.
funny. Like, a dozen people sent me that story, and I'm like, oh shit, those were the guys I was talking to,
Yeah.
and I was at that silencer shop party with them. Like, just like I remember that.
Yeah, yeah.
So that was.
I showed up late to the sound. Had blood on my pants. It was a great time.
Mhm.
Great.
Yeah, didn't you have to get called out by somebody to make a statement?
Yeah.
Because I was there when that
Yes.
happened, and I was like,
Yeah.
oh, damn, there's
Yeah.
something
When
here.
Las Vegas Metro finally showed up, they wanted a statement too. So I went and wrote that, and then came back and talked to salvage shop people, and then left because I was tired.
Yeah.
Adrenaline dump. I just
Yeah,
went
yeah,
home.
that'll hit you. Hit you hard. But the co-host of this podcast, Braden, he could
Mhm.
not make it because he was sick. He has no voice. But I did recently give him a snake staff tourniquet, and I told him to put it in his pocket until such a time as he could upgrade it to a better one or replace it with something else. And if he's watching right now, I hope that it's in his pocket, because if it isn't, I'm going to give him a hard time about it.
It's the gift that keeps on giving.
Well, I mean, if you carry a gun to make holes, right? There's something to be said about having the tools to fix it, right? Bullets go both directions, but more than that, I think it's the skill, and that's why I like your story, because realistically, having all of the tools, having all the kit and the body armor, all the silly stuff, it only matters if you know how to use it. You knew what to do. A lot of people carry stuff, they don't know how to use it. So I'd rather have the know-how, because realistically, I was joking about it, better than a belt. But if you know what you're doing, a belt and
Pretty decent.
know-how, probably better than the best tourniquet and no idea how to work the windlass. So
Tourniquet the neck. That's how you stop all bleeds.
well, it will.
Yeah, that's how you stop every bleed.
All right. So I like to ask, what's your history with firearms? What's your story in this
It's a weird
space?
one. I mean, I guess it's not too unique anymore because so I didn't grow up around guns. I played video games. I remember like growing up, like the Halo assault rifle, and Call of Duty the Kar 98K. Those are like two things that were just like iconic to me. And I would always I would get them, but never actually use the guns. So like I would basically just play these games with like a single gun in my inventory because I didn't want to actually use the other one. Didn't want to get rid of it. When I was 19, I bought a Mosin, and I still have it.
Was it cheap when you were 19? I don't know how.
They were like 500 back then.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, a far cry from your crate of Mosins for 500, but
Sure. But
I didn't get to live that life, Elmer Fudd. I'll take what I can get.
fair
So
enough.
I got a nice 1928 hex receiver,
Mhm.
and it really just kind of snowballed from there. I have gone down this like obsession over the past, good God, almost 10 years now. I am I'm rapidly aging, I swear. So it's I started with that, and then I got like a sporterized SKS, just because I wanted some semi-auto, and I bought it like a fucking Mossberg Maverick 88. It's a cheap shotgun. Today is the only shotgun I own. Didn't ever
Interesting.
really get into those. It was first NFA item actually I ever did after I got my SOT. I cut the barrel with a hacksaw in my shop. I lived out the dream.
There you go.
And then like I kept going, and it's always been like the history for me. Cool guns that like had a story to them. So the Mosin and then the SKS, the shotgun didn't have much. I just want a shotgun, but it kind of still is for me. Like there's the Bison behind me, the PP-19 Bison. Like that's iconic. And even now, it's morphed into I like knowing more about the inventor instead of, or I guess not instead of, but I like knowing more about the inventor than knowing like every intricate like specification of the firearm, right? Or like of course with a lot of AR details, I can off the top of my head I can rip off some stuff from the TDP. That's the only AK I own, that Bison, and I have no clue. The receiver isn't even parkerized yet because I don't know how to take it apart. I don't know how to take out the fire control group. But I can tell you all these intimate details about Kalashnikov's life, and I mean that wasn't made by Kalashnikov. It was his son that designed the Bison. But details about the inventor, because that's really what is really neat to me now. I went through that phase of like being the demo ranch gun owner, where it's like the flashy guns. F1 Firearms had me in a chokehold in 2016. Man, I'm telling
there you go.
All the skeletonized stuff, and I moved away from that. I learned, and it just, I got to a point where I don't watch videos of people shooting anymore. I'll sit down, and I was for a long time just watching like Jonathan Ferguson with the Royal Armories. I was watching Ian McCullum, and now I've hit this point where it's like
I ran into Ian at SHOT Show, and he was wicked cool, and I got a picture with him.
Yeah, Ian stops by our host Vanguard Arms. He stops by that booth every year. He calls it the Vanguard Arms Shenanigans booth, because we have so much just weird stuff.
I think I saw that video.
Yeah.
On that, so
it's a great time. One of the nicest guys in the entire industry. He's just so, he'll stand there and listen to you for as long as you talk to him.
Yep.
And then like Jonathan Ferguson follows on Instagram the other day. I was pretty starstruck, man. I was like, me? But now, like, even those are like, that's not long enough. I need more than a 15-minute video, Ian. So I've moved on to like C and Arsenal, because it's like a 3-hour video on like this individual Mosin, or on 2.5-hour video on the Craig Jorgensen, like stuff like that, where I'll put that on. That kind of becomes like my inspiration almost, where like I'll use that to force me to not stray from thinking about design or like an idea I have that I'm wanting to flesh out. So like, if I'm trying to think about something and I can kind of model it in my head, like the entirety of the XST, I modeled it while I was driving in my head, and I'd go ahead and actually make it on CAD. So I'll do all that, and in order to keep from straying, like, and just kind of going off on these different tangents, I'll listen to these designs, to these videos, and it is an obsession. I mean, it's pretty much all I can ever really look at. If there's a movie with a gun, I'm like, what is that?
Yeah, dude. Or video games. I actually, so I swapped out. I have these. Well, you can only see the PP90.
I noticed that.
There's an MP5 over here that maybe I can widen the frame so you can see. But I like these because they're disc plates. And oh, geez. Sorry, that's my very loud ringtone. I apologize. I'm going to silence this. I'm going to put it on Do Not Disturb.
Jeez.
Braden will be happy because he always tells me to do that, and I'm doing it this time. But I have these things, and what I usually I just got the new Resident Evil game, and I got one of these for it. Have you seen the gunplay and the guns and everything from that?
I remember.
Well, Jonathan Ferguson did a video on it, so it's worth checking out.
That's fair. I do love Jonathan.
If you like Resident Evil, I don't know. I don't want
to. I grew up on Resident Evil 4.
I don't want to hijack it.
Playing that on the GameCube, yeah.
I have one gripe with the gunplay in the whole game, and it's that when there's a sling on a gun and the gun gets brought out, the whole sling comes off the body. It's way easier to model a sling that is not tensioned around a body. I get it. Everything else is really pretty good. Reloading partial cylinders, checking a gun. It's all very good.
If I remember My buddy sent me a picture of him playing, and I think there's like a CC Scorpion in there.
There's very much a CC Scorpion, not called a CC Scorpion, of
If
course.
if I remember correctly, it had the SBT brace on there,
Yeah,
and that was the
so
funniest part to me.
there's a lot of weird models
Yeah.
in that game. I also am a little bit obsessed. So your background and thinking through things and then trying to 3D model them. Like I had a similar thing when I was younger. My best friend growing up, and I'm still friends with him to the day. He's a
Mhm.
German kid. His name's Kasten. He doesn't watch my podcast. He's not going to know about this. But he went into mechanical engineering. I went into computer science. Went to the same school. Like known him forever. My first instance of doing any of this stuff was an airsoft shotgun, and we wanted to make the magazine longer, so we were so sure we could make it out of wood and we could drill a hole, and then him and we brain meld, we made it work like once, and then you had to reload the thing. It didn't work. But when you look at playing with the 3D models of things, he's the CAD guy. I don't know any of those tools. So what tools do you use? Because I'm curious.
So I started on SolidWorks, and I just happened to my buddy gave me his like student license that he got while he was in engineering school. So it got me through like a year. Well, I mean, it only lasted a year. It's gone now.
Okay. Yeah.
So it ran out in the middle of me designing the XSD actually.
All
So
right.
well, I say design. It ran out while I was teaching myself how to design the XSD. So then I moved to Fusion at the suggestion of some other friends that I've made in the 3D printed gun sphere, which is how I kind of got into the concept of thinking about guns more than just like, oh, that's a cool, engineering, that's a cool piece of history, to like what goes into the design process of them. Why does this feature exist? Why is this feature the way that it is? What led to it being this way? Stuff like that kind of got me to start looking at it in that way by 3D printing guns. But I was certain it was going to save me money. No. So once your gun gets a little bit cheaper, you're like, well, now I can just buy 10 of them. And you start spending way. I was certain I was going to, save money by printing them.
Well, so it's interesting. My state is pretty free when it comes to things, but they've recently tried to crack down on the ghost guns, the 3D printed guns, which is, for anybody watching at home, unconstitutional and wrong. But
homemade guns are as traditional as anything else in America.
Well, we could go on a whole rant about that. I don't want to derail this too much, but when I heard that they were trying this a few years back, I got obsessed and I started looking into it. I have found that generally speaking, buying a PSA dagger is far, far less expensive across the board than 3D printing a decent Glock. And then you start looking at all the other things. And I mean, when I mean decent, I mean you're not talking about PLA because you can't stick it in your car. Like, you know what I mean, dude. Like, I'm talking about apples to apples.
I only ever had like Enders, like the $200 printers. I had an Ender 3 and an Ender 5. With some fairly cheap upgrades, you can get to print carbon fiber nylon.
Yeah,
pretty reliably. And I mean,
fairly cheap upgrades. The carbon fiber nylon is like $40 to $80 a roll, friend. Right?
But then that's a $40 frame.
Well, okay, all right, fine. But you look at the parts kits to finish them out.
Those have gotten hyperinflated, though. That's
correct.
Because it became so common. Those got hyperinflated. So yes, I'll give you that. The parts kits have gotten ridiculous.
Just the economics of it are about a PSA dagger. And you know what you don't have to worry about? You don't have to worry about heating the chamber, keeping it hot, doing any annealing, any of that garbage that people say you have to do with nylon, PSA. Like, I know the deal. Fair. Okay?
But you have so much more love for it when you make it,
I'm not saying you shouldn't do it. I'm just saying that at the end of the day, the idea that this is criminals are doing it for free, or that, you can like you have to love it.
Yeah.
And then you get something good.
Average,
because you made it.
I mean, just the average person out on the street that's looking to go, whatever, carjack the random person, but they're not like, they're not diving in G-code, they're not diving in Acura. They're like, yeah, my infill was off. They don't. That's not. No, I mean, sure, people who care about it might, sell them to that people. I guess there's that, but they'll just straw purchase them otherwise. Like, it's not like, You know?
Yeah, I mean, we could delve into the legality of straw.
Yeah,
Like,
I guess we're gonna sit here in echo chambers. We're like, yeah, that's really stupid. It is stupid, and here's why. Here's another reason it's stupid. You know, it's
absolutely.
stupid.
You and
It's
I are
stupid.
on the same page.
Yeah.
But we were talking about 3D modeling, and the reason I ended up bringing up the guns and the Resident Evil or whatever, my buddy, is there's an axe that Leon uses in the new Resident Evil game, and the fully upgraded version of it, I contend, is one of the best breaching axes that exists. And that's just a statement I want to make, and then let's move on. All right, show me a better one. Okay, and by the way, completely fictional. It's a meld of like 6 different axes. It doesn't exist. So I'm gonna try to make it in real life.
Yeah.
That's the thing I'm gonna try to do.
Do it.
So if I get it right, then yeah, maybe I don't know. You do any breaching? I don't. It doesn't seem like you would, but
I mean, we use like Halligan tools to get in.
Yeah, it's better. It's better.
Yeah. I mean, Halligan's
like,
pretty sick. Yeah.
Like hatchets are cool though. Like you're hatchets cool if you carry like I mean, there's the Winkler tomahawk, which is like that's the SEAL thing, right? Are you no? Okay, never mind.
Winkler, I hardly know her.
Jeez, man. All right, so do you not read Jack Carr? You don't read the Terminal List? Come on.
I do know. It's all nonfiction. It's all nonfiction.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So
a lot of like Kalashnikov's life, John Moses Browning's life.
So that's interesting. So like I have an obsession. So like my historic firearms, I like lawsuit guns. I like guns that were like legally problematic. So like I really like the Sig Sigma because Glock sued him, right? I really like the I'm gonna forget the name, but the Daisy gun that the ATF said, hey, because this fires actual, you're not gonna know about. I did a video on it, but like it's a silly thing they made in 1968 that it actually fires. It's the first caseless ammunition rifle ever. It's worth looking up, by the way. Daisy made it, but they weren't.
Daisy would do that.
They weren't a firearm manufacturer,
right?
So they made this thing, and it's caseless. And actually, the compression of the BB gun, because it's a BB gun, was enough to ignite this caseless ammunition.
That's pretty sick.
And the ATF shows up, and they're like, "Oh yeah, no, actually, that's a firearm. So you need to be a firearm manufacturer." And Daisy's like, "We're not that." And they're like, "Oh well, you could become that." And they're like, "Nah, we'll stop making it, but you suck. But we'll stop making it." So it's this cool little piece of history. Yeah, I got one of those. Yeah.
The AC 556 is a fun lawsuit gun. That's
I do not have one of those.
Well, the post sample version is neat because that's the most. I think as far as I know, that's the most recent use of a post 86 machine gun as self defense shooting.
Yeah, that was the guy where he was followed in the car,
yes,
right?
But it was an HK engineer using a Ruger AC 556 that he picked up for market research, so they say. He was on the way back to the office. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. And his wife was in the car, right? Was the story or something?
I don't remember if it was his wife. I don't know if his wife was in the car, but I know that it was 2 guys and a woman that were following him. And he tried to call the police and let them know, and he tried to skirt them for a long time. He tried to get in the gate at the HK office before they did, but they managed to get in behind him. And he's like, "Well, out of options." And
this is all I've got.
That was a fun read. And yeah, one of my favorite little fun facts of someone using a machine gun and a self defense shooting. And the judge tried his best to get him prosecuted simply as an example because he didn't want it to be precedent. Because I mean, obviously he did everything he could, right? He tried to get away. He tried to tell the police, "Hey, these people are following me." He tried evasion. He tried to get in behind a gate, and then he got cornered. How many more steps can you take before you have to, legally protect yourself? But they didn't want to let it go simply because of what he used.
And that's actually a really good question for you. It's not on my list of things. I've got a bunch of things to get through, but It's a really good question for you. Because there is a legality, right? So if you are found guilty of a crime, and I think that there's a requirement for the crime. I think it's with a maximum penalty or whatever.
I think it's maximum
while in possession of an NFA item, right? 10 years, right?
Yeah, I think it's
right. So it's basically if you're guilty of anything and you have an NFA item, you're going to prison for a long ass time, right?
You're going to get scrutinized pretty good.
Yeah, so I'm paraphrasing here, but there's a lot of people who are of the mind I shouldn't use NFA item for home defense in case the prosecutor, right, is not in my favor, and then suddenly I now am doing a minimum of 10 years, right, because I've used an NFA item. So I wanted your opinion on it.
So, I mean, yeah, and that's relevant because it's actually related to why I made the XSD. Because I had a newborn at the time, and I just bought a Scorpion, and it was my bedside gun. And my wife's like, if we shoot it, it hurts his ears. I'm like, oh well, dude, here's my ticket. Here's a ticket. Give him a first suppressor. So I think obviously, if you live in a state where it's kind of they don't want you to have it in the first place, you're at any given time, at any given election cycle, you're at risk of losing your suppressor rights within your state. Probably don't play with it, because you have no idea what your DA is. I know living in backwoods Arkansas, I'd be amazed to even go to court. You know what I mean? If somebody breaks into my house and I shoot them, they're not gonna be like. I think the question of what I use is more of a curiosity instead of a legal point. Like, what would you do? What'd you have?
Mm.
Especially knowing the cops in my region. Yeah, no, they'd be a lot more interested in just, well, what kind of gun is that? Nice, cool. I think with the right lawyer, of course, you can get off because it's silly to think that you should be scrutinized for what you use to defend yourself when someone broke into your home. They made the choice to take the risk of what might be behind the door when they kick it in to rob your house. It's not up to you to justify it. You want it to be an asymmetric fight, and you shouldn't have to risk your health, your hearing health, by having to shoot a gun indoors to protect yourself against someone who obviously wishes to do you harm by breaking into your house in the middle of the night, knowing that you're home.
Right.
It's silly, and I think if you're worried about it, obviously fight what you can, protect yourself legally, and try to keep your DA that would prosecute you for some stupid stuff like that out. But you can't help what DA you have unless you move. Probably don't live in a state where at any given time you're at risk of losing your rights, but not everybody has that option to just uproot and leave. I get it. It sucks.
Yeah,
but
I know a lot of people in Massachusetts, dude. Like I spent a lot of time there, and I live in Maine now, and more New Hampshire, whatever. Like I spent a lot of time in Massachusetts, and they have no rights, so I get it. So here's my thing. I agree with you completely on that. I would say, generally speaking, when it comes to self-protection, use the best tool that you can feasibly grab.
Asymmetric fight, yeah.
Because I've always said this. I've said, if somebody's in my house, I don't want a fair fight, as you say. I want a flamethrower. I want a bazooka. They're in my freaking house, right?
Overwhelming, just righteous hatred. Just.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's the thing for me, where a lot of people say, well, I carry an inexpensive gun because the police will take it or whatever. No. If my gun's coming out of the holster, right, it is going to be the worst day of my life because I might have to use it, right? I just hope it's not the last day of my life, or worse, the last day of the life of somebody who relies on me to protect them.
Yep.
Right? So
especially now,
I want every tool.
With my son, my 2-year-old. Yeah. That's and a very, very different feeling. There is, a much different feeling between wanting to protect yourself. Sure, you can kind of get yourself. Oh, well, I don't really care. Maybe I just won't carry my gun today. It's not a question anymore for me. It's not a question. If I'm not actively in uniform, I'm carrying a gun.
Yeah,
that simple.
And that's an interesting thing. So I agree. Someone who's expecting a child as well. I agree. There comes a point where like it's me, right? Like whatever. Now I've kind of expanded that to like, well, hold on. Now there are other people relying on me to get home, right? So even if it is just me, it's not just about me.
Yeah, but I'm the main breadwinner of my household. Obviously, my family would suffer great emotional trauma if I were to just be murdered somewhere. There'd be financial, there'd be emotional, how do you really recover from that? As a wife or as a partner, as a child, your parent being murdered, like it's not a question. It's not. even just beyond my health, beyond just protecting him physically. I mean, it protecting myself is protecting him.
Mm-hmm. And at the end of the day, as responsible gun owners, right? We're not, it's not Wild West pimp style, right?
I'm not just dying to use it on somebody.
No, no,
I'm not out here like hope somebody fucks me today. Like I have the best equipment I can feasibly afford. I have training to. I mean,
I would hope so. I always mention the training.
Do it and fix it. You know what I mean? Can't say that I necessarily would, because I'd be more protected, more focused on protecting myself and getting off the X. But like it's not a question. You know what I mean? It's not just about me anymore.
So you mentioned when in uniform, right? So that kind of sucks, right? That
yes,
you can't.
Yeah. Well, so Arkansas is interesting. Actually, about the time I got into EMS, I remember that I was working on my clinicals for EMT school. My dad called me, and he'd just heard about a shooting that had happened in Pine Bluff, which is a town a little bit off from Arkansas, or off from Little Rock. It's not a great place. It's commonly referred to as Crime Bluff over here. So it's a pretty rough place. So there was a domestic violence call, and first and foremost concern when you're going to a call is your own safety. The order of operation is like your own safety, your partner's safety, the general public safety, and then the patient. Patient comes absolutely last at the end of the day, because they're already hurt. They're already needing an ambulance. If you get hurt, you can't help them, and then now you tie up more resources because you need help. If your partner gets hurt, same concept. If the public gets hurt, same concept. You tie more resources. The person who's already hurt, obviously they're a priority, but preventing their injury is already out the window. Something happened to begin with.
Ship has sailed on that.
Yeah. So they did. The person was gone. The perpetrator of the domestic violence was gone, but he came back and saw them putting her on a stretcher and started shooting. So both responders were hit. I believe one ended up passing, but one of the medic pulled a gun that he was carrying out and killed the guy. And it was a pretty hot button issue, because technically speaking, he shouldn't have had that gun. He shouldn't have been able to protect himself. So it became this national debate of like, should they be allowed? Because obviously, I believe the one who shot him, who shot the attacker, lived. And so it came this hot button issue of like, do we have to prosecute him now because he was carrying a gun on duty without being a law enforcement officer, being post-certified? I say, personally, I know this may go kind of against the grain of what we believe for everyday citizens, but everyday citizens aren't always in, to preface, everyday citizens aren't always in these high-stress situations, right? I mean, I've had a few situations I've had to, verbally diffuse, and I've been successful, of course. I'm still here, but you should, at the very least, they should have had police already there if it was a domestic violence scene. Like, even if there's an overdose that I'm responding to, I'm going to have police kind of come in drugs. I don't know where I'm going to. I don't know what's there. I don't know if they just overdose on morphine they're prescribed, or if I'm going to a trap house. I don't know what I'm going to. So if they show up and then everything's good, like, hey, y'all are good, you can go. But I'd rather just have to wave off a cop and piss them off because I have them drive all the way out there for no reason, than I don't go home with my son. But kind of to roll back there, we're put in so many stressful situations, and at the end of the day, the EMS requirements, licensure requirements, keep going down because we have such a staffing crisis. They keep making it easier and easier. They keep making it's getting the public school treatment. It's like no child left behind, right? It's like you enroll, you're gonna pass. We're gonna make it happen. So your requirements going down, you get these kind of just soup sandwiches of people, just a whole sack. I don't want them having their SCCY in their just thrown in their calf pocket, waiting for the first thing that looks like a threat, and they pull out and just start popping and go, oh well, I was scared, it's first spawner. I think that they should have like a modified post certification for EMS, obviously I don't need to know traffic laws. Like, I don't need to know that stuff. But I should be held to the same standards that a police officer would be if they had to, have a defensive gun use in the line of duty. And I should have to qualify to carry on because I mean it's a stressful situation. I can't even name all the different ways that things could go wrong.
But yeah,
But how many times do things look like they're going to go wrong and it turns out it's okay? And how many people would get afraid to call us for help because they're scared that their wife with schizophrenia may end up getting shot instead because the person shows up just a scared idiot. We're put in a pretty high level of trust. Like how, there's no other provider, there's no other healthcare provider that in an emergency, you invite into your home. If you need to see a doctor, you go to the doctor's office. You need to see a nurse, or practitioner, you go to their office. You're bringing me into your home. You're bringing me into your bedroom. You're bringing me into your, like your most private
yeah,
aspects. Your family members hurt in their bed and they're naked. Like if you were to go to the doctor's office, you get dressed. It. I mean, I come into your home. I see everything about you. You should trust me. You shouldn't have to worry about, am I going to come in, jump in your ass and shoot you, It should be a pretty strict thing, but I think there should be a way for us to do it because it's scary that I can't. Well, legally can't.
right.
I'll leave it at that.
So
the person ended up not getting prosecuted, and Arkansas did change it where they do have something like that now. I don't know of any, off the top of my head, I don't know of any places to get that certification to do it. I've never seen it advertised, but I saw something pretty recently that Arkansas did pass it where there's a modified certification that you can get to be able to carry on duty.
That's really cool.
Yeah, it's pretty advanced. I mean, I'm sure the northern states are just so happy. Oh, the hillbillies down there, the EMTs carrying guns. But I mean, I can tell you that which I can say about my own personal employer, but I'm not concerned.
Okay.
Put it that way.
Okay. I'm very happy to hear there's a means for that, and I do agree with you. There should be a means. Former educator in higher ed, right? Like I believe that teachers should be able to qualify, but maybe there is some form of qualification.
In Arkansas, there's something for that as well. My wife teaches at a college,
Mm-hmm.
And Arkansas has enhanced concealed carry permits to where you can carry on school campuses.
Very cool.
I actually need to renew my concealed carry license anyway, so I intend to get the enhanced as well for myself and for her, so that she can carry on campus.
Yeah,
because they allow for faculty at that point as well, which is good because I've seen where other places will be like, oh well, your faculty, you're held to different standards, so you're not allowed to do it. As company school policy, you're not allowed to carry. It's like, cool,
yeah,
so the students can carry, but I can't. Great, yeah.
Yeah, well, even students in many places can't.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Like I said, Maine's pretty cool, but we're not that cool.
It's pretty sick. Arkansas is great with like a lot of stuff. We're not as based as like Texas or Missouri, but close second,
Right. And I think when it comes to that, I've always said, like, I fall into the prepper category, and I've always told, my significant other, it's like, hey, I want to be the last good guy in Maine. You know what I mean? I want to have all of the options available to me so that I don't have to have no options, right? And that's, exactly the way I look at paramedic or even a police officer coming into a situation, right? They have all the options so they don't have to use them if they're well trained, if they know what they're doing, ... But like, that's the problem I see, where it's, okay, cool, we get this person, we let him have the gun, but we don't give him the training or allow for the training or require it. Well, so then mistakes are made and people get scared. No one should be scared to be around Andrew because Andrew doesn't want to hurt anybody. In fact, actually, Andrew will go out of his way to do absurd things like ruining all his weekends so he doesn't have to hurt anybody, right? But I get the other side of it a little bit. I definitely am, when it comes to teachers, like, I have no patience for people who are opposed to that in any way. I could go way down the rabbit hole and sound very radical, but like it's kids.
No,
it's the kids' lives. I
you
am
probably would
absolutely
not
sick.
scare me.
I am someone who is unwilling to get training to protect a kid's life, right? By definition, indoctrinates that kid because they've decided that what they believe is more important than truth and very much more important than what's good for the kid.
Yep, my
they're a bad
comfort
educator.
means nothing in comparison to the health and safety of my child.
Right. That's it. That is it. I don't care how good you are teaching geography, right? If you are unwilling to put the safety of a child, regardless of whether or not you're an educator, really, ahead of anything you care about, probably not a great person. You might think you are, but you've obviously got a scaled values that just don't really align properly. I think you should really think about that a little bit. Especially if you think that there is a risk that a gunman can walk into any school in America at any time, right? If you think that is so likely,
virtues will save us, right? Virtues will keep us safe from danger.
Yeah, well, but that's the thing that I always say, and I have gone, and I've not but I've testified in front of some political people at the state house, opposition, or just to give information about rules or things, and my big thing is always, let's remove the ills of society that obviously exist. Let's remove that. I've got a cute dog, right? Soon to be cute little baby, and I've got predators in my yard. So you can fix all of the human predators. You can fix the two-legged predators. You still can't fix the four-legged predators. I still need to have confidence with the gun and have access to the gun on my person all the time. So that's it. Argument over. Do you believe that exists, or do you live in a fantasy world? Well,
so there are other beliefs. They probably do, but hey, we can keep it on guns, right?
Yeah, let's keep moving. Novox Research.
That's me.
I want to know where the name comes from. I want to know about the story. I want to know about the team, the mission, the products. Give me everything.
The mission. So Novox. It comes from, initially the XSD was going to be a full suppressor. So what the XSD ended up being versus what the XSD began as is actually an opposite concept. The concept was for the mount to live on a single gun, such as the Scorpion, which is what I designed it for in the first place. And it was going to have kind of like a YHM R9 equivalent mounted to it. So there's going to be a suppressor that I would sell, and you could unscrew this baffle stack and mount it onto your Glock. So it was just imagine like MP5SD can that's split in half, and you can take the baffle stack off and the baffle housing off and put that on whatever other 9mm PCC you want to run or 9mm gun you want to run. And then I found out how expensive ITAR was, and that kind of changed.
So sorry, not to interrupt or anything, but I just I've got a lot of questions, but I want to say, why would you want a suppressor to live? For the people who don't know, right? So a primer here. You make a device that makes an MP5SD-esque thing, right? What does that do? It's a barrel that bleeds off, or I'll let you explain, actually.
So this is kind of how it looks when it's mostly. I started unthreading it before I held it up. Sorry, I didn't think about the order operations here.
That's okay.
So there is the barrel, right? You can see the holes through it, and my great webcam. So you have your ports here, and this is a 9mm AR barrel. So whenever you shoot, gas propels the projectile. Once the projectile gets up here, it starts to launch gas out of the path of least resistance, of course. So what that does is, we commonly say it as like, oh, well, it makes 115 subsonic, 115 grain subsonic. It's not that necessarily it makes it subsonic. It doesn't allow it to go supersonic. It prevents it from reaching supersonic. It's the nomenclature thing, right? It's pedantic, but it's neat.
And it matters. So 115 is the most commonly available in America grain weight, cheapest grain weight of 9mm ammo, right? And subsonic ammo is readily available here, but it is significantly more expensive and not available everywhere.
I forget commercial prices now because I get this whole, I'm a special person. I get dealer prices. I pay about 20 cents a round for 9mm generally, for 115s.
Mm-hmm.
And
it's more.
I mean, 147s are even, more for me to where I wouldn't even want to pay the dealer prices for 147. with how much I buy it, especially now. So it's worth it. If you're used to shooting 5.56, 147 grains are still nothing,
Yeah, right.
comparatively speaking. If the main thing you shoot is 9 mil, I mean, you're going to end up increasing your general cost per round. I mean, anywhere from like 15 to 30, 40%.
Right.
So
And
in
also,
bulk, that matters.
there really isn't a common grain weight of 9 mil that's that much lighter than it, right? Or that
Then,
much faster. Not common. I know there are boutique rounds, but
oh yeah, like my defensive carry ammo, I carry 90 grain hollow
okay,
points, and things be zipping. I tell you what,
okay,
that's
well,
Velocitas makes those.
and those are still going to be supersonic in your Nova.
Incredibly, yeah, no. And then there's some like G9 external hollow points. I
Mm-hmm.
haven't chronoed I don't remember chronoing the Velocitas out of it. I mean, you can still tell it's supersonic, but
Or the what is it? Liberty Civil They're obsessed with the super fast, super light nine
I
mil.
haven't heard of them.
Really?
I chronoed a G9, like that
Okay.
external hollow point. It was still 1,400 feet per second out of my barrel, which when it makes 115 grain on average, like from like 1030 to like see Blazer, or no, it's something bronze. PMC bronze comes out like
Yeah. PMs. Yep.
970. So your mid thousands, it typically drops around 150 feet per second off your advertised velocity on the box ammo. So for the round to still be going 1,400 feet per second when it comes out of this is pretty remarkable.
Mm.
It's still quieter than if you were just shoot it out of a direct thread suppressor, of course. Yeah, I mean, it sucks. It's loud. That's not the use case, right? So 124 is a real sweet as far as the purpose goes. Really, we just sell this mount, and it's not specifically a suppressor mount. It's a linear compensator as a standalone thing. It's a blast forwarding device, and that's what we patented it as. But it does have common threads that are used for muzzle devices, not just suppressors. That's a key thing here. There's more than one purpose, more than one use. Some may say dual use. That right there. So specifically, that's your thread adapter. That's at the end there. So the blast the gas that leaves the barrel will flow through these slots. It makes a hilarious fireball when you shoot it at night. It turns it into daytime for a second if you don't have anything attached to it. But I mean, it does reduce recoil because you're not getting a full combustion. You're not you're equal and opposite. It's much less because that round isn't accelerating all the way. Um, it it's pretty neat. It's pretty fun. If I do say so myself, of course. But
Wow. Of course.
that allows you to mount a suppressor to it if you wanted to, and then that gas would flow through those ports, those vents into your baffle stack. Then, after they've had time to expand, to cool, and to slow down, and with the slower projectile, preventing a supersonic crack, and now you have a much greater volume and much slower gases moving into that baffle stack. It provides a very nice experience.
So yeah, I mean, like an MP5 SD,
Yeah.
right?
So yeah, and technically speaking, SD just stands for Schalldämpfer. That's German for it's sound dampener. It doesn't necessarily denotate that it's integrally suppressed. And some people would like argue like, oh, it's not integrally suppressed, you can remove the suppressor. It's like, okay, well, in that case, then neither is the MP5 SD. It's not. Yeah, let's say like
Mm.
the XSD is an integral suppressor, so you can remove the suppressor. It's like, well, I can take the suppressor off the MP5 SD, can't I? Um,
Sure. I actually don't know.
yes,
I
you can. HK recommends you take the suppressor off every 750 rounds and brush the barrel to clean off the ports.
That seems like a very small number of rounds.
It is indeed, and that is something that I addressed with the XSD. So actually, I can pull out one of the old XSD prototypes. So this is back when it was not modular. It was literally just a tube that had a hub thread on the very end of it. We reached out to B&T right before SHOT Show 2025, and it was at that time a two-piece shroud, and they had some recommendations for it. And I am struggling to get this off actually. Yeah, there we go.
Okay.
So yeah, they had some suggestions, changed it to like a 3-piece design, and here we are. We end up with what we have today, thanks to B&T. Hang on, let me grab something real quick. I can show you these ports. I just have to actually get this shroud off of it, and I have to find the right tool to do it. There we go.
Hey, why don't we take a quick break here, and then we'll come back because I might just have to use the restroom very quickly.
Yeah, sure. I'll give me time to prepare this.
Sounds good. Okay, and we're back.
Okay, all right, and I got it all disassembled now. Dirty barrels right here. Yeah, here we go. So this is one of the first prototypes. So if you see that porting pattern there, you can probably tell if I hold it the other one.
Mm-hmm.
While similar shape, the sizes are different, right?
All right.
Okay, get my face out of the way there. There you go.
Well, so, it's hard to see through the bottom one.
Yeah, that's fair. Hang on. Yeah, well, it's also dirty. Yeah, so much different sizes on the ports themselves.
Okay.
There we go. That shows you the difference. So this is like a 1-to-1 clone of the MP5 SD porting pattern.
Mm-hmm.
And those smaller ports allow for carbon to build up. I mean, you can tell how filthy that barrel is. It allows carbon to build up, and it'll kind of just cover it. And so it'll start making your rounds go supersonic again. And so in order for it to remain subsonic and allow gas to flow out of those ports, you have to keep the ports clean. So using these much larger ports, we use one fewer ring of ports than the AP5 SD does, but we use slightly larger ports, so it ends up being the same surface area of porting. Just there is it's much more difficult for difficult. I haven't seen it happen yet where the carbon can actually bridge the gap of the larger port. I mean, it'll encroach on it. It'll start to build up on the edges. But even after 3,000 rounds of, I mean, pretty well like nothing but full auto fire, I didn't cover a gap or cover a port.
Okay.
And I still wasn't going supersonic. So that wasn't the reason we did that. That was just an unintentional side effect we found of using fewer but larger ports. We did it kind of for barrel strength. There's a bit more meat, meat of barrel in between our ports using those fewer ports. We can space them out further from each other. Because I tried to remove a scorpion barrel from a trunnion, and I spun it, and it just crumbled on that ported lattice. This area here, it just twisted and just tore it apart because there was so little barrel material in between the ports. So now we can actually install these and different trunnions and thread them in things, and not just totally just demolish the barrel when we use a strap wrench on it. And then found out that we don't clog ports anymore. But while we're on the topic of ports, oftentimes AR9 SDs kind of struggle to keep most 115 subsonic because there's other other people who do them, and they tend to use either Aero EPC handguards or the Spikes BAR handguard, and they're real fat, but they have this specific barrel nut where they'll be able to index an O-ring off of, and that's how the MP5 SD traditionally sealed, was using an M18x1 thread and an O-ring at the base of the can. Right. So we did away with that, and we have our own proprietary system, which I'll cover in a second. But what it allows us to do is put the ports inside of whatever barrel nut you want to use, so we can fit our shroud underneath your AR9 or regular AR barrel nut, and that allows us freedom to move the ports where we need them to be instead of just where we can get them. So our SD AR9, just simple blowback, allows us to have some of the slowest 115s on the market out of an AR9 SD. So that geometry that allows us to do that, I can cover now. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of why this shroud here looks a little bit like a garden hose spigot. So what it allows us to do is where you slide over your barrel. You know, you're mounting your barrel on your receiver.
Mm-hmm.
Can I hold up a receiver?
Yeah, you can't assemble nothing, but you can hold up the parts.
Yeah.
Just assemble them off camera. It's fine.
Yeah. So magically, this we'll assume this receiver set has a barrel in it, or has a barrel nut on it. But magically, this barrel has appeared with a host.
Mm-hmm.
So once you put your barrel nut on here, 99% of the time, it's going to be covering these ports. And obviously, if we were going to be indexing off the shoulder of that barrel nut, off the top of that barrel nut, that'd be a problem because, well, now our ports are inside of the barrel nut and not inside the can. But what this allows us to do is...
Appreciate it.
So our diameter on the bottom of this taper adapter is like 0.98 inches, and that is smaller than the diameter of a standard AR bull barrel. So as long as it can accept like a mil spec bull barrel, which I haven't found one that can't, it can accept the XSD underneath that barrel nut. Our shroud itself is 1.25 inches outer diameter. Most handguards are 1.3. So this 1.25 leaves just a little bit of breathing room. If you hold it that close, you won't be able to use like an M-lock slot. But
yeah,
you use a quad rail at that point, which we do here. I can grab the build for you.
I firmly fall in the camp of people put way too much stuff, especially on their really thin, lightweight, small diameter guns.
Yeah. So here we hold this, and this is integrally suppressed.
Fantastic.
With a Centurion C4 quad rail on there. I recently got these Surefire grips from a local police
old
department.
School, awesome Surefire.
Yeah. Did a police department sale, and they traded me some of these some inventory. Cool. I got Aimpoint Pros and.
Oh, there you go. Yep.
Yeah, but this is entirely suppressed because that's what our geometry allows us to do. You can. I never liked the concept while I was designing it. I never liked the concept. I would go through these questions, right, where I'm given a pitch at SHOT Show because that's when I was going to announce it, and I always had this imaginary person is like, okay, well, what handguards can I use it with? And if I had to be like, well, these three, it didn't feel right. I didn't like it. It felt like it was like just gonna, okay, never mind, and then they just leave. All interest is gone if I tell people that you can't build your gun how you want to build it. If you want to use my parts, you have to be locked into this ecosystem. I hate it. So I at the to the dismay of everyone who helped me design the XSD, because I'm not an engineer. I do have engineer friends though who help me with like the wall thickness math and stuff like that. Because
that's the way to be, man. Have friends that are engineers. Yeah. That's way better.
Like, here's our general design. Here's our pressure and all that. I don't know enough about material science to be like, oh well, this can handle it, and this can. This can handle it, this can. It needs to be this hard. It needs to be this. I know it needs to be steel. That's about as far as I got. So we make it out of all stainless steel. Sometimes our barrels are 416 stainless. Sometimes our barrel are chromoly. It really depends on what kind of blanks we can get right now, because that's a tight market. But we don't change the cost based on that. I just if I have to get 416, I eat it at the end of the day. And that's something that I kind of do frequently. Like every XSD we sell comes with on the end of the shroud, which I set somewhere. Here, yeah. So this is a dead air thread pitch prototype. On the end of these, we sell with every one includes the hub thread pattern and the alpha thread pattern.
Mm-hmm. Which are
initially it was going to be that we're going to be selling 2 kits, 1 hub, 1 alpha, and I didn't like it. Felt penny pinching. It felt wrong, but I didn't want to include both. And we made this literally as soon as I got home from SHOT Show 2025. Made the decision to include both, and I just told people what this is going to cost, and all these articles came out about what this is going to cost, and it again didn't feel right for me to come home and be like, never mind, actually it's going to be 400. No. So I ate it. Every single time I sell an XSD, I'm eating the cost of an alpha adapter because I planned on it being with just the hub adapter. But that's
So
I do
just
what's
for those
fair,
who don't
not
know,
necessarily what's good for my wallet.
You got hub, right, which is kind of a standard, right? Which is what it's Bravo, Silencer Co
Yeah,
Bravo
hub is
ish,
Bravo. Yeah,
right? And then you've got Alpha, which is also incredibly common, right?
Yep.
Those got to be the most the two most common.
Those are the two most common 9mm QD attachment threads.
Suppressor threads, and you touched on something there where it's
I vastly underestimated how much of a market share the Dead Air Wolfman holds. I'm sorry to anyone who watches this. I was like, not that many people are gonna own it. I'm telling you, dude, every week I can eat. Where's the Dead Air adapter? What
yeah.
what do I do for the Dead Air?
The Wolfman is the worst suppressor ever, except for the fact that it is absolutely bulletproof, and it's like the pistol caliber can that will not die. Like,
I mean, the YHM R9, dude, you can use that for 308.
Oh, I'm not saying there are not better cans. I'm just saying, like, if you went back in time 5 years, right, where nobody knew anything about cans, and you wanted a full auto 9mm can, and you didn't end up buying a Wolfman, then whoever paid for the Google Analytics, right, deserves to have their job, right? like that was the option forever until people were like, wait, hold on, there's other things. Like,
yeah, I got to the game late, dude. Like I said, my first NFA item was after I had an SOT.
Yeah. So, actually interesting. So, like I mentioned, I spent a ton of time in Massachusetts. Like, I was obsessed with guns forever, but like my whole collection did not start until 2019. Like, I had like things you could have in states that sucked, but like I'm with you, man. It's recently. I have gotten into NFA stuff recently, so I understand.
I did teach myself about suppressors to design the XSD.
Yes, that's wild. Awesome, but wild. But before we get off our tangent here, the thing that I think is really special about your brand, like, is the value, right? And it's not just the cost of the product. That's kind of irrelevant. Like, I used to, when I worked in a gun store, I'd tell people, like, the gun is the down payment. Then there's ammo, training, all the other stuff. The cool thing, in my opinion, let me tell you what I think's cool about your product, is, yeah, it's affordable, but yeah, it works with a ton of stuff. But realistically, the thing about an SD that is cool is that you do not have to obsess over what ammo you put through it, and you don't have to then suffer the cost of picking the wrong thing.
Yep.
Even if you're running a boutique round, super lightweight 60 grain 9mm, the effect, the end cost of using that round is reduced. And that is something where it's like, all right, cool. If you're running a MP5 SD that you've gotten somehow in this country officially, if you're running a hacked clone from that company in Texas that might make them, or you're looking at the new PTR, right? You might have a budget that doesn't give a crap if you run into problems running the wrong ammo.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, there's companies that do conversions of the Century AP5 SD.
Sure.
I think Century's talking about actually importing or like getting them, imported and then doing conversions themselves. I feel like I heard that somewhere. And then like there's Ronin Arms. Love that guy. He's doing some incredible work. He's doing some really really cool stuff like MP5K SDs, like titanium suppressors, dude. And he's just a nice guy while it does it too. I mean, that's really the coolest part. Like, and for it's a pretty big indicator of like your character when there's a company that shows up on the scene and is pretty much directly threatening your product, right? So like I release this thing that's now I say not. You can't just throw the XSD innately on an MP5 SD, but I do have it ready to do so. Specifically, our barrel diameter is matching that of an MP5 SD. Literally, all you would have to do to put the XSD on an MP5 SD is once we kind of get regular manufacturing lined out, because like it's hard for us to keep up with demand right now. I'm gonna start adding extra parts, and I'll add a rear adapter that is just M18 threaded. It's that simple. You just change out the one part. If you were to change this out, I can add one's M18, and you can throw this whole assembly on an MP5 SD. So right now, not necessarily a direct competitor, but if someone were looking at buying a Ronin MP5 SD, and then like there's not want to do it because of the cost, I guess you could call it. But if I show up out of nowhere and you can see that there is a possibility of a threat to your market, and you're still just a nice person in general, and like he'll comment on my videos and like, hey man, great, like that sounds great, like great job. What a guy, dude. Like what, like it's in this industry where we're so regularly just accosted by different governmental bodies or different political action groups, whatever.
Or like Rare Breed handing out cease and desists at SHOT Show.
Yeah, that's rough, man.
It really
there's
is.
not a ton of room for us to really be so toxic to each other.
No.
So it was pretty sweet to see that from someone that I followed Ronin on my personal page, like before I ever had a company. I knew about Ronin Arms, so for him to be like, oh man, great work, dude, it feels incredible. But Scott's a nice guy. Scott is just a cool dude and does cool stuff. If there's a single other company's SD that I'd buy, it'd be Scott's.
Yeah. Well, and that's really cool to hear.
Yeah.
Because I also think that to a certain extent, I own a lot of fancy guns, right? And I also own some things that are, you'd be surprised that it wasn't made in somebody's garage,
Fair.
And both need to exist, right? Mm-hmm. And we don't have to say, okay, cool, if you're not running an HK OEM, everything sucks below it. And it's not that the more affordable version is inferior. Like there's no need for that. But also, it's like, as you say, operating in this industry, like it is so awesome when people are willing to help, right? Or just generally be good citizens in this space, because it is not easy. Because one of the things I want to talk to you about is a small manufacturing company. Like there are challenges to that. Forget the ATF component, forget the compliance component. That is hard to do. But one of the things I want to know, Novox.
Yeah.
The name.
Oh, dude, I got way off. I'm sorry. So it was intended to be suppressor to begin with. I was thinking of like names based on like Scorpion since it was the first product, whatever. And then I kind of just got to a point where it's like, no, that's gonna be kind of weird. And I was thinking about like Latin bases, right? Looking up like species names of different scorpions. I was like, and I was thinking about the average person around where I live, trying to pronounce it. It's like, no, that's not gonna work. So I eventually landed on Vox, which is voice or sound, like a Magnavox TV, like great sound. So then, traditionally speaking, or I guess if we're gonna be correct, without voice should be a Vox. However, like the skincare company, like Avon, is like really close, so didn't care for it. So I went Novox, just no voice. I was like, damn, that's not pretty good.
That's pretty good. You Googled whether or not it was, it existed.
I didn't do that until I filed for my LLC already in Arkansas. And
oh no!
Funny coincidence, there is another thing called Novox. It's a dog painkiller. So it's really, we've thought about making shirts. It's like, Novox and Novox. It's like the hands clapping together. Meme. Saving dogs from pain. Because we're not a suppressor.
Saving ears from pain.
Well, saving dogs is then the ATF can kick in your door and shoot your dog.
Oh, yep. I get it. Yep.
And then so I guess I kind of also got off topic, not using an O-ring, right? So we did away with the MP5 SD's O-ring, which it's, as far as I'm aware, the primary purpose of the O-ring is to prevent the threads from backing off. Once you tighten it down, it heats up. But it also does, like threads themselves don't necessarily seal from gas, as as anyone who's had something carbon locked is aware. So what we do, patent pending, is on these threads, we use a taper lock at the base of the barrel. So to actually see it.
Yes.
Yeah, there you go. You can see a bit of the taper lock there.
And taper threads are awesome. Realistically, everything should be taper threaded because friction, instead of having a tiny little surface area for the 90 degrees, it has all this surface area of like a cone. Yep. Right? Is that a good way to describe it from somebody who's not an engineer? You get cone is more surface than
also not an engineer.
Yep. So this is harder than that.
If you go diagonally across a square instead of just straight across a square, it's a longer path. So I mean, same.
It's a better way to describe it. I like that.
You know what I mean?
Oh, all right. Big words.
Yeah. Hey, I'm educated man. So you just slightly tighten it down. It is a bear to actually have to pull off. I mean, it ends up being that kind of like a force multiplier. So it does steal from gas, and so we're currently patent pending on that SD like integral suppressor taper lock. And like we did a whole bunch of stuff with it being like a modular blast deflector and all that. But one of our key claims is that taper. And so it's like I don't intend to keep. Obviously, I can't just be like, no, tapers are mine. What I want it. What my future I see, or my dream, is for this to kind of become like almost like M-LOK, right? Where Magpul, owns it entirely, but all you have to do is apply for free to license it.
Yep.
And you can start using Magpul on your rails. All they want is credit for it, which is why you always see the M-LOK logo on M-LOK rails. But it is a free license for Magpul to get all the technical data on their slots. That is what I want, because I mean, obviously O-rings we don't use O-rings on suppressors. That's a one exception, is the integral suppressor.
So
it was great in the 60s. It was great. It was great back then. We're not there anymore. We're
not. Future, and I want to talk about PTR. I really do, because I love their products, but I want to talk about them. But anyways, I want to talk about them. But before we get to that, so I don't know if you know this, but like literally the first episode of the podcast, I was like, hey, key mod, it died. Why? Because M-LOK came along and did the smartest thing possible, which is, hey, we're just going to make this available. We're going to own it. We're going to say it's ours. So not only do I respect that path, I don't know how you monetize it correctly, but I think it is absolutely the way to do it.
As far as for me goes, basically anyone who wants to integrate the XST into their platform, I'm happy to license out the barrel profile itself. And for my own sake, so that I can continue to operate,
right.
It's just the barrel. Buy the shrouds from us. You can OEM, whatever, white label, I don't care. Just let me manufacture the shrouds, make your own barrels. Then you're not waiting on me to go get from a barrel shop. I can just buy the shrouds in bulk, because I'm not a manufacturer. I don't know. I'm learning, but I don't know how to do that. So then you can do whatever you want. If you want to license out the whole thing, and make a can with the integral taper lock on it, a full SD can. We can talk about that individually. But as far as just the barrel profile, and you want to ship something from factory with XSC on it, I'm happy to license that out, and just OEM can buy the can or buy the shroud at a discount from us.
Yeah, I think that's an incredible idea, and I think that you're right to go the next step too, if I'm being honest, because it's like you've got the Scorpion, the what is it, the Micro 3 Plus, whatever they called it, right? That was designed to suppress, a little tiny thing, in my opinion. I don't know what it actually was, but I could see an OEM saying, hey, we're gonna, this is, it comes with M-LOK rails, it comes with Novox compatibility, and you know what, you buy the suppressor, you're done, right? In the box, you're done. You put it on, and it's freaking awesome.
The important part is that they're separate, the suppressor and the XST.
Suppressor is a different thing. I'm just saying, you buy it just like anything. MP5 K comes with
Mhm.
Trilog, or actually, I
Yep.
think most of the SP5s, I should say, come in with the Trilog already built
Yep.
on. Right? You buy a Trilog can, you're good to go. But this is better. This is better, obviously, because it's got the, in my
I'd be biased
opinion.
if I said that, but I mean,
Well, so it speaks
I
to a
suck at
different
marketing,
person.
dude. I'm not good at marketing because I don't like to sit here and be like, yeah, mine's the best. Mine's the. I'll
Well,
tell you straight up, like, hey, it has some of the quietest, some of the blah blah, some of the slowest. But I don't know absolute. I don't know if there's somebody out there who has a slower 115, like, and I just haven't found it yet. I haven't seen one. I've looked for it. I mean, but I'm not gonna sit here and tell you it's absolute and look like an idiot when I end up being wrong. And so that makes me pretty bad at marketing. So I'm not out here in your face like, look at this, it's the best thing you've ever seen.
well,
Hey,
I
do
think
something
that
pretty
that
cool,
is a great segue to PTR, which is putting out a 3-stamp
Right.
gun. Okay.
Now this is a three stamp gun. That was so exhausting to see all week, dude. It was.
You know,
I was tired just watching him. I don't know how he did it.
I went up to the booth and there was this dude who was super excited about, like, incredibly excited about it. I don't mind sharing this. Like, he was obsessed with the 3-stamp gun. Okay. And I'm like, you're an idiot. That doesn't exist. He's like, what do you mean? And I'm like, no. You don't need a 3-stamp because once it's a machine gun, you can add the suppressor because a machine gun can be a short-barreled rifle. But how are you going to own this? And he's like, no. It's an SBR and 2 separate suppressors. So I'm like, oh, this is dumb. This is dumb. You know, I was trying to be pedantic and tell him he was wrong. I didn't realize how wrong I was.
So they're not wrong in doing it that way and having it be a stamped item.
Yep.
In the configuration that they're selling it, right?
Sure.
So they're saying flat out, they're holding up, say, we'll go with this old one. Pretend this is the PTR thing. They're saying this is made for your suppressor and your suppressor only.
Right.
This is now a suppressor part.
It is.
And therefore, I can't sell that standalone. I think it's foolish for them to sit there and say that, even sold with a suppressor, this is a second suppressor. I think that's foolish. Why would you not just make a separate SKU for it and say, oh, this is just a new suppressor we have and it's modular?
Well, so the issue I have with that is, are you familiar with AB's products?
Yes.
How is the reflex adapter that goes over the barrel not a separate suppressor then?
Are they selling it standalone? The only purpose this serves is to be on a suppressor.
Well, they're not selling it as separate, but PTR's not selling anything in this instance separate.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's why would they serialize this and say, okay, well, so this is this. That's like it'd be like if they were to try to serialize a piston, right? You're not buying a piston standalone, right? You know exactly what the piston's for. The piston's for mounting a suppressor.
Mm-hmm.
And you're not buying the piston standalone. If they didn't sell a piston just as an individual product, and they were still just saying like, oh, we're going to ship this the same box, but the piston is also a suppressor, because it's a suppressor part. Its stated purpose is to be for a suppressor and only for a suppressor. So it's the same concept as like a baffle.
Well,
right?
you can.
Why would you serialize a baffle? You
can buy pistons on their own now.
Just a hypothetical. If they were to not be selling that. So the same concept here, where this is a stated suppressor mount. You're selling it only with a suppressor. Why are you serializing it too? And why are you calling it another suppressor?
Well, so I think the reason for that is that they very clearly wanted to.
Oh yeah, no, it sounds like a marketing ploy because look, this is a 3-stamp gun. It seems like I think it's gonna backfire. It seems like it has because a lot of people were like, well, that's silly. I don't know. I'm not an expert. I don't know. But
I also think
know that I've very specifically set mine up to be a standalone muzzle device. I very specifically focus on that. People ask me to make a longer one. I'm like, well, I can't really go too much longer because then I'll actually diminish the report. This thing it's a loudenser on its own.
Yeah, it's a.
But if I were to go out to be a 16-inch shroud, at the end of the day, I'd just be an Sidearms Vanquish, the baffleless integral suppressor.
Yes.
So I can't go that much longer. I mean, you're stuck with it. I'm sorry. I'd like to make you a rifle version. Even at SHOT Show 2025, I talked about making like a rifle version. I can't, dude. It's toeing the line too close.
It's very close, if not a silencer at that point.
Yeah, and at that point it probably would be in the same sense that the Colt, how they call it, like the regulator, that was on like the or the, I think it was like the regulator, where it was on the oh man, like the XM15, like the XM.
Oh yeah. For
where it's literally just like a perforated cone that sits inside of a flash hider, and the only purpose is like to forward sound away from the pilot, from the down pilot. That's a suppressor according to the ATF, because it is intended to reduce the report of the firearm. Doesn't do it very well, but it does it. And that's its stated purpose. The stated purpose of the XSE is not to do such. The stated purpose of the XSE is to reduce velocity and to forward a blast. That's it. I don't sell a suppressor. I don't make suppressors. I don't, and all that is by design. This is at its core a muzzle device. The PTR version is not. The PTR version is at its core a suppressor mount. I don't think they're foolish to make it a regulated part. I think they're foolish to be serializing it individually. And I think that's nothing more than a marketing ploy and just banking on the fact that your customer is okay with the inconvenience of having to wait for all three to clear before they get the gun. And I'm sure the people who are willing to shell out the money for it are happy to wait for that inconvenience. But I can tell you that I didn't want to do it. I didn't want to wait that long before I got an SOT, because I mean, even then we were still in like the month-long wait times before I got an SOT. You know, I still didn't want to do it for one, let alone three, even if they're free. I mean, it's not even just the cost. It's
well, and having to have those 3 forms with you all the time, yada yada yada. But that to me is, I guess, you know, I love the idea.
You know, like you sit there and you're like, I love PTR, I love everything. So I mean, there are people who are like that will just buy it because it's PTR. And I mean, they're able to do that because they have that staying power. I don't. I mean, I'll tell you right now, I've got to earn my place. You know, like so. I mean, I can't bank on people being willing to go through that much inconvenience to use my product.
Right. Well, so but then you've got, I mean, the Vent series of suppressors, purposely induced porosity, like they're cool. Like, yeah, I'm into it. However, they're a massive company, and they could actually, you know, stand for something and help a little bit. You know, they're not the small guy anymore. They're acting like they are, but they aren't. And that frustrates me. And, you know, it does frustrate me that I go to the booth. It frustrates me
that they're doing that simultaneously while suing Otter Creek Labs for printed suppressors.
Yeah, it's a little bit weird that they think they own something they didn't come up with and haven't done it until way later. Anyway, enough about PTR. I think, and again, I think the specialness of your product is, again, overall, reducing. You said it when you were talking about the Scorpion. You said, hey, I want to make this so that you could also take it off and put it on your Glock. PTR didn't give a fuck about you being able to use their suppressor on another device. They don't care.
They care about you being able to buy another one.
You could no, but you should buy another one to go on.
Yeah, that's.
And they used to be the cheap alternative to HK. Yeah, it's very expensive, this new PTR 3 stamp gun. And it still, by the way, uses...
I looked at it in person at SHOT. I think their end adapter is hilarious, because if you use a hub can on it, good luck ever using an alpha can on it. For anyone who hasn't seen it, it's... Here, let me take this end adapter. All right, so imagine we have this that is sitting, you know, at the end of the can. This is a hub thread. Real quick, let me grab this, and I can actually show you a visual representation of what this looks like. So now, sitting... stepped below these hub threads, right, are the alpha threads. So if you have a hub can that threads over the top, your alpha threads are inside of your suppressor. What's happening to those alpha threads every time you shoot? You're going to pull this off, and this is going to be a smooth wall now, a smooth wall of carbon. I hope you didn't want to swap to a different can anytime soon, because you're gonna it's going to be a minute.
Yeah.
Why? Why would you not just make 2 separate parts? You're already doing it. You're already making 3 tax stamps. Just make a separate thread adapter.
Well, but that I think that again, and I asked them. I was like, hey, well, does this still use O-ring? I understand the O-ring, and also, what is the maintenance cycle? Nobody at the booth had any answers,
Nope.
and I like the people that work at SHOT Show booths are not generally the engineers, right? They're the marketing team. You don't want an engineer being there and be like, well, it's 1.376, and the angle is 60. It's like you don't want those people.
I talked to one of their engineers that came by our booth.
Oh, okay. Oh, awesome.
I'll tell you in a little bit.
All right. So, but I was just like, oh, hey, is this, I understand for a real MP5 SD, there is, a quite, let's say, regular and intensive maintenance process. Does this have a similar? And they're like, oh no, it's our engineers say it's great. You don't even
our Mr. Jumpy excited man, this three stamp gun. Couldn't tell us anything about it either. But the engineer is very insightful and had a lot to say about it.
Okay. Well, I want to know what did the engineer say then? If you could share, if you want to share.
I would rather not make the litigious company angry. Publicly.
All right. Sure.
Because I can't afford that.
I get you.
But we can talk about it in a little bit.
All right. Well, we will talk about it later. All right. So I think what you're doing is special. And it's not because a lot of people want that SD component. And honestly,
I have learned ever since I talked about the Kuna. That was
right. Oh yeah. Dude, what are you doing? Come on, dude. I need it for my Kuna.
Right,
Come on.
All I need you to do is just look inside that handguard.
Yeah, there's no space.
Bear with me here. I'm working on it. It's just the barrel mount for it is particularly long.
Okay.
I don't have a lot of space between where the ports need to be to keep 115 subsonic.
Just to be clear here, there's no space.
Yeah. So your dreams of a tucked can aren't happening. I'll tell you that much right now.
Okay. It's fine.
It's gonna go out to the end of the handguard and flare out. It is actively being worked on. For those who email me frequently or DM me frequently, and I appreciate it. I'm not sitting here complaining. I appreciate the interest. I am very thankful for the interest. But I promise I haven't forgotten any of you GHM9 or STRIBOG or Kuna or so on and so forth. They're all very active works in progress. However, all of us still work full time. I regularly go out and work on running the lathe or getting spanner wrenches ready, doing prototyping work up until 2-3 a.m. After being up for 24 hours, on the ambulance. I'm doing the thing. I don't know if y'all can tell how much I sleep or don't. But I love you. Bear with me.
Right. So obviously I want it for the Kuna. I understand. And just for those who don't know,
Springfield also wants it for the Kuna. Springfield is very excited.
Oh, that's fantastic. So here's the problem. And if you have any sway at Springfield, you go talk to them, because the issue with the whole Kuna is that handguard is the receiver.
That's all of them, man. That's the modern roller delay system. If you look at the STRIBOG, you look at the MAT 9, you look at the APC.
It's okay.
Is it STRIBOG? How do you say it?
STRIBOG, because it is the name of like a supernatural creature in Slovakia. It's STRIBOG, very much STRIBOG. And I hate it because I said STRIBOG forever and I corrected people
I've
over again.
I've just said like STRIBOG, right? Just straight just southern as hell. And then like at SHOT you're like, oh right, the STRIBOG. And it's like, okay, hey, sorry, I'll get on it. Hey, my bad, So that Slovakian equivalent of APC, MAT 9, Kuna, modern roller delay. They're all just that single extruder receiver, and they are all my worst nightmare because I can't stop thinking about it. It makes me angry that it is such a challenge, and that it does pose such a challenge to me, because I got here, I was like, well, formula's done, integrating everything else is gonna be easy. And I looked at that shit. That was not gonna be easy. And then I swear every time I'll get like the Slovakian equivalent. I'll get it like pretty good. I'm like, okay, cool. That's my formula for the rest of these. And I'll get to the next one. The handguard's like another inch, another like 1/8 inch smaller in diameter. Like, damn it. Or the mounting system is just a little bit different. I'll have to change. Yeah, the idea of the XSD, the X is fill in the blank, right? It's supposed to be a universal thing.
Yep.
It makes me mad when I have to start making new parts, new designs, new entire families of these products to fit into something.
All right, so I have one request. I think it's H3 Industries or Haga Defense. I think they're like incorporated. They have a handguard for the Kuna that's extended and big.
Yep.
I don't know if you're familiar with. If you could please make it fit in that, that'd be cool.
I mean, so those, as far as
they go over.
They just bolt onto it, right?
Yeah, they're just bigger than that. But if you have to go out and go up, just if you could keep the internal diameter.
All it would do is like your thread adapter would like start at the end of your handguard. So then that's up to whatever muzzle device you want to put on there.
Okay.
And same limiting factor you have on the AR9, where whatever handguard you want to use is limited by the muzzle device that you want to use, not the XSD. And that's the design principle I go by, is that you put limitations on yourself, I don't.
All right. Well, so if I order that product, you're saying it'll work. Okay. All right. I get to send you an angry email if it doesn't. That's the deal.
I've made good on things before. I've bought handguards for people. If they end up having one that didn't work, or like they were counting on me releasing a longer one, I've sent people handguards because I felt bad for it. Probably not a great business design to have, but I mean, I'm small enough to the point where I feel like a personal connection to every one of my customers, and I feel a genuine and like deep appreciation for every one of my customers. I'm a nobody, and you trust me with your dollars. You know what I mean? Like, that's a big deal to me. So yeah, I mean, like, we're getting to a point now where it's very difficult for me to keep up with every single email, and that's a lot of what Nick's like day to day is helping me keep up with emails and stuff like that. But I mean, how it was trying to get in touch with me to like schedule something concrete. I was like, I'm trying.
Hey, well, from one nobody to another, I appreciate it. I do.
No, I mean, I'm not too good for anybody. Like it's. I mean, my phone number is the Novox number. I didn't think I'd need a business phone number for a long time.
Don't use Google Voice if you need a business phone number in this space. I'll tell you that much. It's a mistake.
They've been cool with it so far.
Oh, dude.
But yeah, I mean, like people will call and like, oh my god, like I've seen you on YouTube. It's like, yeah.
Yeah, it was me.
I did that, and like the owner's answering the phone. It's like I'm not a special. It's my house, Like I'm not some big warehouse owner. I'm not some big multimillionaire. I'm still working as a paramedic, dude.
Well, that was one of the things.
Trust me.
Then I was at the Silencer Shop party, and I was talking to Nick, not you, because you were out, giving a statement or whatever. But he made it very clear that it was like, hey, like I want to, I'm not in this to become a millionaire. And that
happens. I ain't complaining. Don't get me wrong.
We're not gonna stop it.
Yeah,
but he was more eloquent than I could read. But he's talking about. He's just like, hey, this is something I want to do. You think it's important. Yada yada yada. And when you do something for the right reasons, it grows naturally. And I get the impression, might be all BS, that you care, and that makes it so much more important than just I think it's a neat product.
Yeah.
I really do, and I think that's one of those things where you got to support the companies that are doing it right. Like I really like, and I haven't had any bad experience, but like the guys at Atrius making the super selectors, right? They seem like really cool dudes, right? And I went over and talked to them, and they seem on the level versus. Not to knock them again, but
it's not great practice if you can't answer basic questions about like, hey, how does this actually seal on the barrel?
Yeah.
I mean, imagine if Griffin brought out their taper or their gate lock, right? And they're like, man, how does that work? I don't know.
Yeah. And,
I'm leaving your booth. I'm gone. I don't care what you have to say anymore because I don't trust your product.
yeah. So, how do you feel about Griffin? Like, I won't. I'll withhold my. How do you feel about Griffin? I'll tell you how I feel.
I think there are some unfortunate coincidences, so to speak, as far as things that they've released in comparison to other companies that I happen to know they've done the prototyping work for. I think it's particularly unfortunate that certain things have gone from being machined to being mimed now. I used to recommend the Griffin Mark 9 lower to everyone. I don't anymore because I won't recommend something with a bunch of memmed parts and then direct blowback lower, which already wears parts faster than the average AR. To put mem in there, it's crazy. That's crazy work. That is just crazy work. That's all I can say, man. I think they make cool stuff. Don't get me wrong. I think they're a neat company. They have really cool history, you know.
Yeah,
there we go. That's it.
Yeah, so I think your opinion mirrors mine pretty close. I think they're the biggest company that is actually still doing like unique and cool things when it comes not so much to suppressors or their firearms or whatever, but the attachment methods. Like, I know their taper system, everybody hates it. All right, fine. It might have sucked originally, but then they fixed it. But like,
I think gate lock is cool as hell. I love gate lock.
Yeah.
I have this weird obsession with gate lock, dude.
It's
just
really
something
good
about it. It just tickles me. I love it.
I
don't even know anything on it. I just think it's cool.
I like Easy Lock, and I like Cam Lock, and everybody hates Cam Lock. Cam Lock for me is the suppressor in your pocket for the coyotes who want to kill your dog in their yard at night. Chunk, kill coyote, don't wake the neighbors. It is not the ultimate solution for a range day putting a ton of ammo through it. Easy Lock might be that, because Easy Lock is actually pretty good. But, like, who's making this stuff? There should be ways to QD pistol suppressors to pistols. There's like freaking one company doing it. It's Griffin.
Right.
However,
Tri-Lug.
Well, a pistol though, with a piston.
Yeah, they make a. I'm 99% sure they make Tri-Lug pistons.
Oh, sure. They do. I'm not. I haven't run one.
I'm halfway gone talking out of my ass there, dude. I own a single threaded barrel pistol, and like I said, you know, I literally just got my first rifle suppressor, literally because I had to demo some for a police department.
Oh, really?
I own nothing but 9mm. Well, all right, that one's a 45 technically, but that's because I'll give you a little hint there. These magazines. Sorry, I'm filling with these thread adapters. These magazines are
that looks
25
like
round, 45
might be
ACP.
a UMP, or perhaps a magazine for Slovakian UMP, like the STRIBOG 45. Those they take the same mags, by the way.
Do they?
Yeah.
Okay, well.
So people call it.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna do it for the Slovakian one as well. But the police department wanted to trade me some UMPs for suppressors. I'm like, well, I guess I can do that deal. I can work that out.
We'll make it work.
Yeah. Hey, as a favor.
You know what I love about police departments, and like back when I was, doing the gun store thing, like when you're working with a police department and they do any ATF anything, it's just like, oh yeah, they spelt it wrong. That's fine. We'll just say, yeah, by the way, you spelt it wrong. Go ahead.
They denied my Form 5 for those UMPs because on one spot, like, captain signed with like, captain in the title, and on the next one just signed his name. And like, oh no, that's not good enough, and they sent it back.
Ooh, you got unlucky then. I've done a lot of police department stuff where they were just like basically rubber stamp it. Oh, this is a PD.
It was like a 4-hour approval time between when I filed the Form 5 to give them the suppressors to when they were like, yeah, you can go ahead and do it, but actually getting for some reason they don't want me to have 4 post 86 UMPs for some reason. I don't know.
Oh, but you got to be careful though, because when it comes to the SBRs, right? They're doing they're making. Yeah, you might want to check those, because there's a lot of, if it was in the inventory of PD, they become transferable stuff going on.
No, they were in 2000, September 2000 is when they got them. And then so they have no chance of ever being transferable. But gotcha. 0702. So for the purpose of them, they can write the law letters like, yeah, we're trading, blah blah inventory. And
Sure.
ATF tried to hit me like a trick question, like, so what are you gonna do with them? And I was like, display, demo.
All lawful purposes, friend.
Yeah,
Doesn't
work for me.
They force all lawful purposes now as the descriptor.
I've never filled out my own Form 4.
Really? Or well, wait, probably Form 1.
Didn't have an NFA item before
Form
I was
4 would
filing
be.
Form 2s.
Oh, well, okay.
My third NFA item was a machine gun.
That's crazy, man. That's so crazy. Well, if you ever find yourself in Maine, you wanna,
in School of the American Rifle somewhere up there. He's in that area. It might not be Maine, but
it's New England. I want to say like Vermont or something. Let me look this up because I think you're right.
It's somewhere that you wouldn't be able to bring these things unless you had, the licensure to do so.
Then I would say it's more likely to be. Hold on, Vermont. School of the American Rifle is. Pardon my. That's pretty awesome. You go to their website, it has the what kind of American are you?
Yeah.
AR. Yeah. Hold on.
Chad's awesome. I love Chad.
I have not interacted with where are they?
And I guess back on other companies being really cool, being really nice in the space. I figure out what state he's from, because I just swear it was like
I got it. Yeah.
I feel like it's started with an M. Richmond Tactical. They're who make our receivers for the AR-9. They also make this Stinger suppressor, so it fills out the handguard of the CC Scorpion real nice. This rectangular. Yeah. So it fills out the handguard for the Scorpion really nice. But previously they had their own proprietary thread for it. So expressly for the XSD, they rethreaded these from now on to be alpha. So now you can have an XSD on your CZ Scorpion and have that big monster on there and be hilariously quiet with all these baffles. And that is something that I was really blown away by, because now, beyond other companies just being nice, being cool to us, they're changing their product lineup for our product, which is just it's crazy to think about. All the late nights teaching myself CAD.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out where they are. And it seems like, from what I can find, two closest airports to our class location are Philadelphia International and Baltimore, so not close to me. That is, I'm sure I could find a very specific thing, but I can't because I'm.
All y'all New England states are the same.
Dude, Philly is not New England.
Geography up there, they all the small states just blend in together, and I just look at them as all
okay,
all in that area. I'm gonna be God honest with you. If you ask me to pick out I'm trying to think of New Jersey versus
New York.
Say I could tell New York. I could tell you New York, because that's one of the bigger ones. But I don't know, probably New York against New Jersey against any other little tiny state next to there. I know New Jersey is near the ocean, because the old that's where the beaches are. But I mean, I'd struggle. I would probably struggle.
Okay.
I could probably work my way up from Virginia, get pretty close, knowing the whole DC stack.
So that Maine is as far.
Maine is the very top one. That's way up there. But
first sunrise in America,
because you're a bigger one.
I think maybe I don't know. Maybe Alaska has us beat. I think that we have the first sunrise. Well, yeah, we would, because we're eastern. Yes, because of the mountain. There's a mountain in Maine. I think is the first place you can see the sunrise in the U.S. every day. the first sunrise point. I believe that is true. When I was in the Boy Scouts, I think we went and we saw the sunrise before everybody else did. It was a thing.
What a life.
Oh yeah.
Eating all your lobster, man.
And I actually don't really like. I like lobster, but I'm not into it because here's
Crawfish,
the thing,
man. I grew up in Louisiana. You know, crawfish. I grew up in Louisiana.
Yeah, mud bugs.
Just a mini lobster.
No, it isn't. Okay, so here's the thing about lobster.
Just mini lobster.
Lobster is never worth the price.
Yeah,
crawfish are worth the price.
Shit, the price of crawfish now.
I still think they're worth it. I'm like.
It's a lot of work. A lot of work for not a lot of food.
Yeah, I mean, dude, if you're talking about like food for worth, we're not even like.
No, like work. Like you busting your ass, busting all them tails out of there.
Oh yeah, I never do that. I go to I'll go to a boil. Somebody else will do it. I'm gonna be honest. I've yet to ever do that myself.
Now you're sad. Now, jeez, this guy.
Now you gotta come up here and teach me.
I'm not even main crawfish.
Well, no, you bring them up or something. I don't know, dude.
Yeah, let me. I'll check my crawfish for you. I'll put them in the bag with my guns.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I drive. I drive everywhere.
Couple machine guns and
I drive everywhere.
I ain't driving a Maine, dog. I was tired of driving in Texas today.
I mean, okay, all right, fine. Back to some topics. Okay. Great question to ask everybody.
Oh.
What do you carry?
Oh. Every day, CZ P10C. I carry it's the Holosun 509, the ACSS model with the chevron.
Oh, I love that with the big old ring.
Oh yeah, love it. Enclosed, and then I have a trigger. I'm trying to remember who made it. I think it's a company called Hive, HYVE. They do like extensions and base pads for magazines too. Yes. But their P10 trigger is ridiculous.
Okay.
It literally, like, as soon as your finger gets the blade safety in, it breaks. Like, that's it. It is incredibly light. It is incredibly crispy. So I'm obsessed with that gun. I've been thinking about getting a Glock Gen 6 though, ever since I held one of those shot. I didn't like the Glock grip angle anymore, because like I carried a Glock before, and then I picked up a CZ in a store while I was in paramedic school, and I was like, well, that's it. I'm gonna have to get one of these. And you know, I shoot competitions with a P09, which I had milled for an optic before they started, doing that from factory. Thanks CZ. Among other things. And they said they couldn't fit an RMR plate in there for like, bullshit. I have an RMR in my P09. How'd I do it and you can't? But whatever. Hey. But that Glock Gen 6, that the stippling is very satisfying. Very satisfying. And I like building Glocks as they're just stupid, simple, and fun.
So I'm a SIG 226 guy at my core, and I have carried a 226 forever, but I'm currently carrying a Gen 6 Glock 19.
Dude, I don't blame you. I don't blame you one bit.
I did have to get rid of the beaver tail because it cuts into my belly a little bit when I sit down. It's really absurd that beaver tail in the back of so I did grind it down a little bit. Outside of that, stock trigger, light optic. You know what?
Yeah, sorry, TLR7. I carry TLR7 on mine as well. Sorry.
Yep. It was actually, I think it was Nick actually, who was like, dude, I really do like the Radian, was it Ramjet combo thing?
Yeah.
And cool. I was like, that seems like a silly waste of space, but he was like really into it, when I was talking to him at the SHOT Show. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna give it a shot.
They're pretty neat.
I like it. And it's not like 9 is unmanageable. It just, I think it just completes the whole system a little bit.
You want an unfair advantage at any given time. So if it gets you 5% better, then why not?
Yeah. Never a fair fight, man. Just
yeah.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm going to have to be fighting at Glock 18 And
Mm. Um. Yeah,
I would
I
do it.
just
I would do it
yeah.
too. I would carry Glock 18.
So I was talking about how like the Griffin cam lock system,
Yeah.
right? Like I no joke did carry a suppressor like in the winter when I was seeing predators in my yard because like and I would have it on me all day just in case. So I don't have a problem, with an NFA item. Only issue I have with the Glock 18 is I worry that the fight might not be over when the bullets are gone. Because as a if you let's not get off on a crazy tangent, but if you look at the application of those in real world instances, they are generally used in teams where you have to defeat somebody before they hit a button. Like there's real world
Does anybody ever
application.
actually run them?
Yeah, if you're talking about like places in hot button areas where defense forces need to potentially resolve suicide vests before they're able to hit a button.
Yeah, well,
It is
I
a
mean,
real world.
my only known like real application for it was that Glock used to like to take police chiefs out there and not tell them it was Glock 18, and they.
Yes, yes. But no, there have been some real world applications where it's like I need a ton of bullets to interrupt the ability to hit a switch.
Hey, I mean, they're fast.
But outside
they
of that, there's
hilarious.
probably other dudes in the crowd too who can back you up if there's more.
I mean, but you got a domination factor now. If you say you do have to use it in a self defense situation, there's three other guys. They don't want to be the second one to get that.
So practice your reloads, your tech reload.
Yeah, dry fire reloads from appendix. You're good to go. Carry 4 33 round mags. You're good to go.
Yeah. It seems like a bit of a stretch. But hey, if it's what you train with, at the end of the day, if you train around it,
it would certainly make you reconsider whatever was so important that you had to fight this guy over. Someone was like, "I'm going to beat that guy's ass," and then never mind. Actually, it wasn't that big of a deal. I should have been nicer to that man.
Yeah, and never mind.
Yeah.
All right, so we've been going for a while. I want to want to let you kind of get out of here. But it's been great talking to you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Do you have any new products? Anything you'd like to plug? Anything you want my limited viewers to know before we get out of here?
I mean, yeah, we're always adding stuff. We're like I said, we're getting ready to do like 45. The whole UMP mag thing. It's really simple. We literally just copied the Delisle patent, like the Delisle carbine patent for the barrel. I just read that patent and applied that to CAD for like how they describe the ports, and that was it. It's long expired. It's not like I'm out here just violating IP laws, but I mean, obviously, it's pretty good design for barrel ports on 45. So getting ready to do that.
Okay.
Talking with a couple of companies that. Yep.
You got to explain this to me. So
what's that?
I was unaware that there was a really integrally suppressed like this style 445 at all. This exists.
It's an infield carbine like a Lee infield converted to 45 that has a ported barrel and a suppressor integrated into the into the handguard.
I'm pretty into this stuff. I've never heard carbine. This. So a lot of 45 caliber things are already subsonic.
45 itself is innately subsonic.
Right.
45. It's 45 ACP. It's innately subsonic. And like this, and in the VZ61 with the 32 ACP, it is also innately subsonic.
Mm-hmm.
With the VZ, some of the surplus ammo from the Czech Republic can be kind of hot and go super. So we're doing XSC for that as well, and it does prevent those from going super. But really, what you get from that is the volume. It allows it to expand. So the first iteration of the of the Delisle carbine didn't have a ported barrel. They went and kind of messed it a little bit more and ported the barrel. And like, oh, hey, a lot quieter now. And from then on, it was ported. So I obviously ports don't need to be very specific, don't need to do anything particularly fantastic. So that's why I was like, I'll look up the Delisle carbine patent, and literally I'd pull it up on one monitor, pull it on the other monitor. I was like, plurality of ports, one, this distance from each other, this way. Yeah, so I did that on an AR barrel and moved on.
Still a taper thread system?
Yes, yeah.
Okay, good.
Just the porting,
right.
Anywhere I can fit a taper thread in is what we're gonna be doing, because I mean that's what kind of banks my whole patent.
It's
I don't
better.
have to file another,
and it's better.
It is
but no, so this is very interesting to me, because a lot of people, just for the audience who doesn't know, like they say, oh well, 45 naturally subsonic, it's quieter than 9mm. That is almost never the case, actually. Like sound and pressure are about equal, right? Generally, not exactly, but generally. So 45, even suppressed, is louder than 9 suppressed a lot of the time, if you're comparing 9mm subsonic.
Yep.
So people who say, oh, 45 is it's the greatest thing to suppress ever, it's hearing safe, it's the best thing, are kind of
actually,
not...
It's actually pretty hard to suppress.
Yeah. Are not getting the point. So I'm actually kind of excited now. I didn't know you were doing that. This could be really neat, because it could bring that big 230 grain slug to a point where it really does take it down. So
yeah, and without really affecting velocity that much, because it's not like we're putting there. Not like we're putting them there to slow the bullet down. They're spread throughout the entire barrel instead of always being condensed into one spot, and it just kind of lets the gas kind of just fill it instead of just rush out in a jet. It's pretty quiet.
That's pretty cool. Only for AR-45 using what's the company that does a little conversion-y things?
So far, I've done the AR-45. We're looking to doing full builds for like a set me C converted to 45.
Okay.
The UMP, once I get it from the ATF. The STRIBOG, STRIBOG, 45. There's this guy called STRIBUMP or STRIB. I don't know how to pronounce it. It's how I've only ever said it in my head. He's doing like this conversion furniture to make the BOG look like a UMP. He's offering to send me his build just so I can mess with it. Yeah, I mean, basically whatever I get my hands on. You know that meme picture, like the guy behind the tree, like rubbing his hands together. That's me. Anytime I see a pistol caliber, and I'm like, how could I do it? I get someone under the handguard. So I mean, I'll find a way. I'll do something with it. And I mean, I'm open to custom requests. Like the XR EP9 desk pop was like dying for us to send him another one so we could like modify it to fit and try to work with the XR to get it. I was like, yeah, okay. We're doing the CMMG stuff. I'm working with trying to get OEM barrel extensions from them for the radial delay blowback.
Yeah. So I wanted to. Sorry, I know that we were going to, but I got to ask. Their radial delay versus a traditional roller delay. I have found that suppressing that is complex. Are you finding similar complexities?
Well, with the radial delay?
Yeah.
They're kind of finicky to begin with because of the whole ejector issue.
I
think it's
a very complicated system to try. It's like look what they need to
just fraction per power. Yeah, I mean,
yes.
But I mean, tuning a suppressor roll delay kind of sucks too.
True.
In a traditional sense, like with the MP5 SD, where like it's a full-on locked-in system, whereas the delay offered by the Kuna or offered by the BOG is not as delayed as the MP5. It requires so much tuning, and I mean that's kind of a good and a bad thing, right? Because you're going to get still more recoil, more gas to the face from it, but it's not just fickle pitch that doesn't want to run. If you use a different grain or a different suppressor, you start adding more back pressure to it. It's like, oh well, it's done. I got to change out my locking piece again. It's nice you don't have to worry about that anymore. I think that's a really cool function. As someone who has been dabbling and and some new delay options. So yeah, doing that. We're looking at doing bolt actions. We're like just buying like almost like Ruger Americans and like converting them to 45, doing like a modern Delisle carbine, or 300 blackout. We're doing 9x39.
Neat.
We converted a CZ Bren to 300 blackout at SHOT Show. You saw that same Bren is now 9x39. That we're working on getting the cycle.
Wow. You're getting a 9x39 to work. I thought that was impossible.
So Roswell Manufacturing. I'm actually the SR3M guys. Good guys, good friends. They sent us. So we bought a whole bunch of ammo from them, and then they just sent us a barrel blank for free. And so we turned that barrel down to fit a CZ Bren and put the gas block on and all. We made our own op rod for it, so it's a super short gas system. We've gotten it to the point where we're cycling now, but it's not locking back. We still have to tune it a little bit more and figure out how we can get this super low pressure to operate this gun that's made for 7.62 by 39 and 5.56. It's difficult, but we're close. How many people actually care about it? I don't know, but I mean, we're doing it. It'll be a neat thing if somebody wants it to happen. We can do the same thing for a bolt action gun. I mean, the 7.62 by 39 Ruger American, we can convert pretty simply into 9x39 because it's not like we have to worry about gas system to operate a semi-automatic bolt. So we make the VSS at home type stuff, but I mean, a lot of that we're doing the BNT lower receiver you saw with the PPS H41 drum. A goal at SHOT Show was to talk to Carl Brugger again and because the PPS H41 drum supply is drying up. I went to Carl, and before I put a Suomi drum in that SPC, much like the KH9 uses, I asked him, and it's not like even he was like, well, I don't own like the rights to a Suomi drum. I was like, no, it's like a personal thing. Like I want to make sure you're okay with it, and I think he appreciated that a lot, but I'm not trying to make enemies out here, you know what I mean? I don't want to turn around and next thing I know, BNT hates me, because I stole. So I mean, if he was like, no, I'd rather you didn't, that would have been it. I'd be like, no, publish it only. But he had no problem with it, and he was like asked if he could take a picture of the lower and all this. So love Carl. He's a awesome guy, awesome guy. And yeah, so we'll do the Suomi drum. He was cool with it. He was like, I have no problem. So that'll be nice because a lot of people were complaining about that when they saw the publisher. Like, oh, why'd you do that drum? I was like, look, at the time, it's just what we had. But now we'll branch out more. We're gonna do like Colt mag version for it, all that kind of stuff, and try to make it FRT compatible out of the box, so you don't have to modify your receiver, your upper receiver on those BNTs to do FRTs.
Oh, I do like that. I like the sound of that.
I'm not selling the FRT. I'm not trying to get sued, but
of course not.
You toss one in there.
Yeah, you would never. Yeah, you wouldn't want that.
I don't listen. Right. Personally, I don't. I make a full auto. I mean, but I have the Constitution Premium Edition, so I can do that. But I mean, for the people who don't want to deal with all the headache of that, I think the FRTs are sick. But I don't dabble in them because I don't have enough money to go to court all the time.
Yeah. Thanks for coming on the podcast.
Anytime, dude. I have to come back anytime you want.
Well, I appreciate that. I was going to wait until the podcast was over and ask for maybe a follow up, but I really appreciate that. It's been great talking to you. It was super cool meeting your group at SHOT Show. There's a lot of people who are selling vaporware and even when they're selling something that's too good to be true, that you can tell they don't care. And I just think it's neat that you guys do. You're passionate about the stuff. Even talking about
we're not very prompt with our releases since we are just kind of doing this as we can. Like we're busting ass as we can. Try not to be vaporware.
Well, it's there's a difference between we want to make this and we can definitely make this. Go ahead and care, and then have no interest in actually doing it. I get it. The Kuna isn't a unique engineering challenge. I've looked inside there and been like, how the heck are they going to make this work? But I mean, they say they're working on it, Yes. So I get it.
I have all the official CAD from Springfield. You know, this is
ooh, that's very
mock-ups
cool.
I've made so I could look at it and like try to think about it. You know, but
it's very cool. You know, but before we sign off here, I think if we do this again, it'd be really cool to talk more engineering.
yeah,
You know, as somebody who loves, you know, I play with the 3D printing and the other pieces of that. I think it would be cool to like kind of nuts and bolts it maybe if we do
sure,
this
yeah.
again. So, viewers, if you think that'd be interesting, you know, comment below. What am I supposed to say? Like, comment, subscribe. I'm really bad at YouTube and all the other things.
Dude, I remember posting to Instagram sometimes. I mean, that's the best I got going for me.
All right. Well, definitely check out Novox Research.
I always wanted to be on a podcast when I started this, so you've fulfilled my goal here. So you know, thank you.
Oh well, thank you. Yeah, that's awesome. You know, maybe this podcast. I mean, think about how cool it would be if I like become one of the really big podcasts, and you're one of the first guests that matters. Right. And then like you're a millionaire.
I don't know about matters.
And I'm a millionaire, and we joke about how awesome it was the first time you were on the podcast.
That's
that now rules the world. You know.
That's right. From our private jets, we'll wave to each other. You know?
I don't think I'll ever do the private jet thing. Mostly because I despise flying. So I will have a very cool, like ultra modern armory inside of a Winnebago. But you can have your jet. You'll be on the jet, I'll be in the Winnebago, and it'll be great.
Hell yeah.
All right. Thanks, Jacob.
Thank you, dude.